Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter. Welcome to the channel. This is my spoiler-free review for The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. It is an hour and 20-minute long feature anime film produced by Mir Productions, and it is produced by Lauren Hisrick, who is a producer on the Witcher Netflix series, both season 1 and 2. So this is a big one, guys, because the first time we're seeing the Witcher world called the Continent established in an anime medium, an anime format. And for somebody like myself that is not really well versed with anime, I watched it like 20 years ago if you count Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Digimon. So to actually sit down and experience this more of a Western story established with this art style and this medium, I was actually really impressed and really hooked from start to finish. So this story follows the character of Vesemir, who is actually the master of Geralt of Rivia, which is the Witcher that is most common that everybody sees. Of course, Witchers are monster hunters on the continent. They are responsible for going around and dealing with the problems of the townsfolk, which oftentimes have werewolves, have griffins, have leechers, have drowners, have ghouls, all these different crazy, very dangerous creatures that the Witchers are there to kind of deal with. But the Witchers are sort of like super powered. They have potions that were injected into their veins and whatnot to make them extra powerful and sensitive when it comes to these monsters. So that's where we pick up with the character of Vesemir. We get to see him as a kid. There's two different storylines, and we also get to see him as a full-grown Witcher at Kaer Morhen. So the crux of the story is in the present time is that the Witchers are on the verge of being extinct. They're on the verge of having a war between the humans and them because they have a negative connotation. Nobody really likes the Witchers. That people think they're crazy. People think they're harmful to the civilizations nearby. So we have this character of Tetra, who is a mage that is one of the forefront people that is advocating for the destruction of the Witchers. So basically what happens in this story is there are certain creatures that are popping up. They're a little bit unnatural compared to the usual ones. So we have the Witcher who is pairing up with Tetra, basically the person that doesn't like him to begin with. They go on this mission to kind of surveillance and figure out what the problem is. So long story short, without spoiling anything, the Witcher is really put to the test in this one, as far as Vesemir is put to the test with having to deal with this person that hates him, but also trying to prove a point at the same time, saying, hey, Witchers are needed. We should not be extinct. You cannot do this to us. You cannot burn us out. So that's the main character there. Is you have Tetra, who has that long-standing relationship with the history of negative things that have happened with her and Witchers in the past. But then you have Vesemir, who grows up from like this beggar kind of persona and his lifestyle, where he grew up very poor, and you've taken him by Deglin, who is another Witcher that is able to kind of show him the ways. So we get to see through the Witcher's eyes themselves to see how that process goes, the training, the subjugation to like all this weird kind of magic and dark energy and whatnot. So we get to actually see that for the first time, I believe, in any of the Witcher mediums. We didn't really see that too much in the show yet. Maybe a little bit in the game, but we did get a lot of lore built up in this specific 1 hour and 20-minute feature film that I really did enjoy because, yeah, at times does it get a little bit crazy, and if you're not really well versed in The Witcher, you might be a little bit lost when it comes to things like the elves and just the Witchers and everybody else in general around like the different regions and their animosity and different references. You might be a little bit lost, so I got to take off a couple points just for that, or a point or whatever for that. But the whole package here, I was sold, man. This felt like what I'm used to playing through like a quest for the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It felt like I read a chapter of the book, but it also stood so importantly in the overall Witcher lore because we get to see some things transpire that will actually affect characters like Geralt of Rivia. It will kind of shed some mystery on why Kaer Morhen was so abandoned and so run down, because it has to do with this story. But it also has that kind of somber ending that most Witcher stories have, where there's like, it is kind of sad. It is kind of like, oh man, it kind of hits you in the feels. And for it to do that to me, for just some characters that were introduced in a matter of like, an 80-minute feature film, I got to give it some serious props for that. Great pacing between the flashbacks and the current story. And overall, I think this is going to stand very well to other Witcher stories, whether it be video games, whether it be the novels, of course, whether it be the live action series, and whatever else we can get in the future. I think Nightmare of the Wolf should be something that definitely all Witcher fans should watch. And I would say to anybody else, check it out. Just be warned, you know, it's Witcher content. So you're going to see nudity. You're going to see lots of heads and severed arms. And, you know, you're going to hear lots of cursing and everything else. It's super mature. And I wouldn't expect anything less from the Witcher franchise, because that's how they usually are. So with that being said, I got to give The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf a score of an 8.5 out of 10. Highly recommend this one. For more on movie reviews and everything else on our channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and do hit that bell icon to be notified of videos in the future. I do have my weekly Star Wars podcast, Outer Rim Transmission. You can go ahead and subscribe to that audio podcast feed, or just go ahead and watch us every Friday. We go live around 9 o'clock Eastern. So that's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.